When we talk about climate change, it's usually all about the numbers, right? Statistics, degrees, policies. But today, we're looking at it through a totally different lens. We're diving into this incredibly powerful plea from a Samoan chief that reframes the entire crisis as something way more personal, a fight for the very soul of the Pacific.
Just listen to how it begins. We are the tiny canoe in the hurricane. We did not cause the hurricane, but we are facing its full force. Wow. I mean, that's not just a line from a speech, is it? That's the entire message, right there. It just perfectly captures this feeling of immense vulnerability and this profound injustice felt by Pacific nations. They're on the front lines of a crisis they had almost nothing to do with creating.
So who's saying this? A Samoan chief. And he's not talking to the UN or some global summit. He's speaking directly to his fellow South Pacific leaders. And that context, it's everything. This isn't some abstract political debate. It's an urgent, internal call to arms, a plea for survival among people who are literally watching their world disappear from under their feet.
To really get the weight of this, we first have to understand what home even means in the Pacific, because, as the chief makes so clear, we're talking about so much more than just a piece of land on a map.
It really all comes down to this foundational concept, fa'a Samoa. It means the Samoan way. And it's not just a custom or a tradition. It's a whole worldview where your identity, your spirituality, your entire life, it's completely inseparable from the land and the sea. They are one and the same thing.
Let's break that down a bit. The land and the water, they aren't just resources you use. They're the home of your ancestors. They are the literal source of your food and your life. They're the heart of your spiritual connection to everything. The land is like a living library of your history, and it holds the promise you make to your children for the future. So you see, when the water rises, it's not just a flood. It's threatening to erase all of this.
And it's this deep connection that really sets up the central conflict of the speech. Because the threat isn't coming from inside their islands, it's an external force. And the chief uses this stunningly simple metaphor to describe the world's destructive apathy.
Which leads to the unavoidable question that the chief confronts head-on. Who is responsible for this? Who is lighting the fire that threatens to consume their entire world?
And his answer just brilliantly illustrates the injustice of it all. They are like children playing with matches, and they are burning our house. The power in that sentence is just staggering. It paints this picture of absolute recklessness, of powerful nations acting like they're completely oblivious, or worse, indifferent, to the fact that their games are incinerating someone else's home.
So, right here, this is the crucial point laid bare. Look at this stark contrast. The source of the fire, the industrial emissions, it comes almost entirely from developed nations far away. But who gets burned? The Pacific Islands. It's a problem created thousands of miles away, and the ultimate price is being paid by the people who contributed the very least to it. The injustice is just undeniable.
But, and this is so important, this speech is not about despair. Not at all. In fact, this is where it turns into this defiant call to action. The chief pivots from just identifying the problem to proposing a powerful solution, a uniquely Pacific path forward. And this is the moment everything shifts. We have looked to them for answers for too long. The answer is not out there. It is in here, with us. That is basically a declaration of independence, not from another country, but from the idea that they need outside saviors to come and rescue them.
So, what does that actually look like? Well, the chief lays out this really clear three-step vision. Step 1. Unite as one people, finding strength in their shared culture and their shared struggle. Step 2. Trust in their own wisdom, the ancestral knowledge that has sustained them for thousands of years. And step 3. Stop waiting and start leading the world by their own example.
And it all really comes down to this one powerful idea. Our survival cannot depend on the conscience of those who are burning our home. It must depend on us. That is such a profound and necessary shift, moving from a position of being a victim to one of agency and genuine power.
And this brings us to the end of the chief's plea. It culminates not with a demand, not with a 5-point plan, but with a question of survival that's just left hanging in the air for all of us to think about.
Because as we've seen, this whole fight, it's not just about land. It is a fight for their very identity. A fight for the answer to a single and frankly, absolutely terrifying question.
If the ocean takes our home, who are we? It's a question that challenges not just the people of the Pacific, but every single one of us to really consider what we all stand to lose in a world that is changing right before our eyes.